How do federal, state, and local statutes interact? Imagine a layered cake where each layer has its own flavor but works together to create a delicious treat. That's how federal, state, and local laws fit into our legal system. Each level of lawmaking has its own rules and areas it covers, but they also influence each other. The United States Constitution is like the cake's base, setting the rules for how all these layers work together. Federal statutes are laws made by the United States Congress and apply across the entire country. State statutes are laws created by each state's legislature and only apply within that state's borders. Local statutes, often called ordinances, are laws made by cities or counties and only affect those specific areas. The key idea here is the principle of federal supremacy. This means if there's a conflict between a federal law and a state or local law, the federal law wins. The Constitution's supremacy clause makes federal law the highest law of the land. But federal laws only override state or local laws if Congress clearly intends to do so, or if the laws directly conflict and cannot both be followed at the same time. States have the power to create laws about many things not covered by federal law. For example, criminal laws, family law, and property law are mostly handled at the state level. Local laws tend to focus on issues like zoning, public safety, and local business rules. When a case comes into a courtroom, judges have to decide which law applies. If a federal law conflicts with a state law, judges look to see if federal law preempts the state law. They try to interpret and apply laws in a way that avoids conflicts whenever possible. Courts also play a big role in sorting out these interactions. Federal courts handle cases involving federal laws and constitutional questions. State courts handle state and local laws. Sometimes, a case can be heard in either system depending on the issue. The highest court for federal law is the United States Supreme Court, and its decisions are binding on all other courts. State Supreme Courts are the top authority on state laws but must follow federal constitutional rulings. In practice, lawyers and judges use these rules every day. When a law conflicts, judges decide if federal law preempts the other. Courts try to interpret laws so they work together smoothly. Lawyers need to understand all levels of law to give good advice and argue cases effectively. This system balances national standards with local needs, making sure laws are fair and consistent across the country. So, in the end, federal, state, and local statutes are like pieces of a puzzle that fit together within the larger picture of the legal system. Each has its own role, but they all work together to keep the law functioning fairly and efficiently.